Is there anything you'd like to add in terms of supplementing the record concerning this issue?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Clearly, I was never going to get a fair trial when all of my evidence has not been provided to me.
Okay, it is October 3rd, 2016, 3:13 p.m. Calling Eric Altmann, Assignment Editor, 5 Eyewitness News. Is this Eric Altmann?
Oh, no, he's currently away from his desk. May I take a message?
Okay, and you're Caitlin, you said?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I just sent Mr. Altmann an email there. Do you have access to his email at all?
I don't.
Okay. Well, anyhow, I sent him an email. I sent it to see if I got the right email address to start with. It's ealtman@kstp.com.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anyhow, I sent him some information. I have some information about the high-profile Dede Evavold case that's related to the high-profile Sandra Grazzini case. Are you familiar with either one of those?
Uh-huh.
Well, anyhow, I'm one of the people who's helping Dede with her case, and of course, Dede had her evidence illegally withheld from her by the Dakota County prosecutor, Catherine Keenan and James Backstrom. The evidence that was illegally withheld from her in this trial by ambush were the preliminary audio statements of each and every witness who got on the witness stand to testify against Dede. So that's the thing. I don't know if you consider that a fair trial or not, but I don't think that's possible to have a fair trial without your evidence being given to you. And I have Sandra's evidence, and it consists of 1 DVD worth of evidence, and I also have Dede's evidence, which consists of 2 DVDs worth of evidence. Do you know the difference between a DVD and a CD?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see by the scale of things, Sandra Grazzini had a fraction of the evidence that Dede had. So it would be virtually impossible for Sandra to have a fair trial if Dede has essentially 12 times the amount of information that Sandra had. You're aware of that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You know, I have nothing. I can't see your email, and I can't help you without that information. I would suggest just calling back later whenever Eric is here.
Do you have any idea when he's going to be back?
Maybe within the next hour.
Okay. I thank you for your time, and I will call him back.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, bye now.
Bye.
Okay. October 3rd, 2016, 4:15 p.m. Calling Eric Altmann, Assignment Editor, 5 Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News, this is Eric speaking.
Hi, how are you doing today? This is Terry Numbers.
Good, how are you?
Super. Can't complain on a beautiful, windy day like today. I sent you an email a while ago, about 3:14 today. I sent it to your email address, ealtman@kstp.com.
Yeah, I saw that. What's going on?
Yeah, I am in contact with Dede Evavold. You're familiar with her high-profile Sandra Grazzini-Rucki case?
Yep.
Okay. Anyhow, she has had her preliminary audio recordings for all the witnesses in her case, like the state's witnesses, illegally withheld from her. Of course, Sandra did too. I have Sandra's evidence in my possession and Dede's evidence fits on 2 DVDs and Sandra's fits on 1 CD. So apparently the only way Dakota County can win a court case is by illegally withholding their evidence from them.
How was that legally withheld?
How is it illegally withheld?
Yep.
Well, she filed a criminal complaint, and the Judge Conkle acknowledged the fact that she filed a criminal complaint against Dakota County. So unless you think you know more than Judge Conkle does, I think that pretty much sums
I'm
it
not
up.
saying that, sir, but when I have somebody call us with things like, the courts are operating illegally, when people use what I'm going to call very bluntly loaded language like that, I immediately start to raise these questions because these are the same questions my boss is going to ask me when I pitch this story to them.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I don't believe you. I'm going to ask hard questions, though.
I didn't understand what you said. You got kind of distorted there for a second. So what kind of questions? Blunt questions, you said?
Yeah, I'm going to ask very blunt, straightforward, hard questions.
That's fine. I got no problem with that at all.
So you say it was illegally withheld and a judge acknowledged it.
Yeah.
But how does that play into her criminal defense?
Well,
illegally withheld from that.
Okay, first of all, Dede Evavold was a key witness in the Sandra Grazzini-Rucki case.
Yep.
And she filed a criminal complaint against the Dakota County attorney because he was illegally withholding her evidence, because he was sending, instead of giving her her readily available free electronic readily available free electronic criminal investigative data, handing it to her in court, he started sending her these harassing letters with fraudulent bills in them, and I could tell they were fraudulent and harassing because the bills do not comply with the Minnesota Government Data Practice Act, nor the rules, nor the model policies established by the Commissioner of the Department of Administration. And in fact, Dede's own judge clearly stated in an order, let's see, what day was that? March 7th, 2016, it says that all discovery shall be exchanged prior to the settlement conference. And of course, Dede had her trial just last week, and she was saying to the bitter end that she didn't have her evidence. So I think that qualifies as trial by ambush. Anyhow, getting back...
I'm going to play devil's advocate. Who's their defense attorney? And why wasn't this raised as an issue?
Okay, first of all, she doesn't have a defense attorney. She is more incapable of defending herself. Judge Conkle acknowledged that fact in the letter that he sent her. Okay? And she has raised it each and every time she has went to court, and each and every time the judge says, well, you take care of it, you settle it between the county attorney. So the judge has abdicated her own responsibilities, and again, is not even following her own orders, which again, she issued an order which says discovery shall be, not maybe, not could be, it said shall be exchanged prior to the settlement conference, which of course it wasn't. Okay? So anyhow, Dede received use immunity and a subpoena to testify at Sandra Grazzini's case. She confronted the district court administrator because the district court administrator willfully refused to acknowledge receipt of Dede's criminal complaint that she filed with the Hastings Police Department. And I was on the phone with her when the district court administrator was confronted. Of course, I have a recording of that conversation too. And so the thing is, magically, mysteriously, Dede received a phone call from Catherine Keena, the prosecuting attorney, excusing her from testifying at the Sandra Grazzini case, the high-profile Sandra Grazzini case. And Dede is considered a co-defendant and a key witness, okay? So that's the thing. And then magically, mysteriously, after Sandra Grazzini's trial, Dede received these DVDs. Well, actually, she received a variety of DVDs, CDs, and a jump drive in the mail, which all fit onto 2 DVDs, okay? Along with another fraudulent bill, harassing letter fraudulent bill, okay? But still mysteriously missing from this evidence was the preliminary audio statements. And I think any first-year law student could tell you that it's an exercise of futility to try to lock someone into their story when you don't have their preliminary audio recordings. And that's the job of the police, to get the preliminary audio recordings. In fact, one of the recordings that Dede has, it clearly states in there, Detective Dronen is talking to one of the other suspects in this case, or defendants in this case, Doug Dolan. He says, we talked to you previously, didn't we? See, so they admitted to speaking to them previously, and obviously that's part of their job to record these conversations to part of the interrogation process. The first part is to get the preliminary statement to tell if they're truth tellers, and then the second part is to interrogate them. So again, obviously, the only way that Dakota County could win this case against Dede Evavold and obviously Sandra Grazzini was to illegally withhold their evidence from them. Does that make sense?
I mean, it makes sense. This is your opinion.
Oh, no. I have the facts. I have the evidence in my hands. So, and I have Dede's paperwork that she filed, the criminal complaints,
Sure,
the letter
I've seen
from
it all
Judge.
on the blog too. But I mean, I guess. Okay, so let me throw this out there.
Sure.
We do this story, and we put you on camera. You say all of these things, and the county says no, that's not true, and they say X, Y, or Z. What happens after that?
Well, I think if you did, you're supposed to ask me the hard questions. I think you should ask the county the hard questions, like, is Dede's bills that you sent her in compliance with the Minnesota Government Data Practice Act and the rules and the model policies, or aren't they? I think
But that's not. I mean, that's not a story, though.
Okay, again.
Improper billing does not make for news.
Okay.
Makes a mistake.
Trial by ambush does, though. See, and this again, this is the from very.
But that's your opinion, is that it was a trial by ambush. I'm in no position as a reporter to say trial by ambush. as an objective observer, I'm not in a position to use that type of loaded language.
I don't believe you're an objective observer to start with.
Then why'd you call?
Well, obviously
No, hold on. Because now you've never met me, but you just told me I'm not an objective observer.
Well, you're holding me to a different standard than the county attorney. See, you want to ask me the hard questions, but not them. And then when I tell you what question you can ask them, then all of a sudden, well, it's not. You change the subject. See, so that's the problem. It's two different sets of rules. Just like Dede was subjected to in court, she's supposed to follow the rules, but the county attorney isn't. You're not allowing the county attorney to follow the rules, and you're expecting me to follow the rules. You see what I'm saying? It's the same song, different verse.
No, what I'm saying is that you're saying the county attorney didn't follow the rules, and I'm saying at this point the only evidence is what you claim.
No. I said I have a letter from Judge Conkle. See?
Okay. Yeah, and we've been over that.
Yes, and that is clear, precise, and unquestionable evidence that Dede filed a criminal complaint, and Dede did not testify as a result.
The criminal complaint was for withholding of evidence.
Yes, for violations of the Minnesota Government Data Practice Act, criminal misconduct of a public official, and which
It seems to me that's more of a civil matter than it is criminal.
Well,
violation of the data practices. I mean, I know because we've had to take government agencies to court before over violating the Data Practices Act.
Really? Because then you would know that it's a criminal act pursuant to Chapter 13.09. It's a misdemeanor to illegally withhold readily available free electronic information. And it's also criminal misconduct of a public official to willfully refuse to do your job. And that is your job to give the individual their readily available free electronic information. And the cost of a DVD is 2 cents, not, I do believe, $15 like they were trying to charge poor Dede. So again, I'm sure this is just a spin to whitewash the county attorney's office, that's all.
Okay. Well, I've got your contact information, and I'll bring this up with my boss and see what he thinks about it.
Okay.
See if it's some more interest in pursuing.
Well, I'm glad I recorded the conversation then.
I'm sorry, what?
I said I'm glad I recorded the conversation then.
Okay, why?
Because I'm going to put it up on the internet to show how much you're concerned about the news.
What's your name again, sir? What's your phone number?
You have my name and phone number. I sent you an email with my name and phone number on it. Is this time an intimidation trial?
No, sir. That's all.
What's that?
I want to make sure I write this down, that's all.
Well, it's on an email. Obviously, you must be flustered because I told you I was recording the call. I think it was just an intimidation tactic, wasn't it? Shouldn't you be saying I'm going to sick my lawyers against you?
320-283-5713?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, Terry, I know how to get in touch with you, so if we are interested in pursuing this, we'll get in touch with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Okay, October 4th, 2016, 12:39 p.m. Calling Eric Altmann, KSTP assignment editor, Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News, this is Ashley.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
Good.
Well, that's good. Is Eric in the office today?
Yeah, he is at the moment.
Thank you.
Send it over.
Eyewitness News, this is Eric speaking.
Eric, Terry Nemers, how's it going today?
Good.
Well, that's good. Say, I noticed you've been on my blog. I've got you logged in for 20 hours and 9 minutes and 16 seconds now. I'm sure you're looking for proof that I actually recorded your call yesterday. I'm glad to provide it right now.
I don't think that'll be necessary. Look, I gotta get going here. I got work to do, but I appreciate you
How
calling.
are you doing today? This is Terry Nemers.
Good, how are you?
Super. Can't complain on a beautiful, windy
Terry.
day like today.
Gary, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you hear my recording of you?
I did hear that, yep.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, I've been a little busy. You know, I'm trying to get this information about, about trial by ambush, for Dede Evavold and Sandra Grazzini-Rucki. So, I apologize for not getting the video up on the internet as quickly as I really wanted to. But
Well, Terry, just to be clear, I never gave you permission to share that.
well, that's too bad, isn't it?
I just want to be clear about that.
Well, I'm clear about that. I don't care. Isn't that right? You understand that? I don't care. It will be up on the internet yet today. You understand that?
Okay, and I just want to be clear with you, sir. I'm
Yeah.
going to go straight to our news director's office after this conversation is over. I'm going to bring that to our attention.
Good. I'm happy for you. Give me your attorney's name. I'll gladly, talk to your attorney or 50 your attorneys. I got no problem with that either. And I'll record each and every one of those calls and put them up on the internet too.
I assume you're recording this conversation.
Well, of course I am. Why wouldn't? Why?
Duly noted, Terry. Look, I appreciate you calling. I'm going to ask you not to reach out to me anymore moving forward from here.
Oh,
Simple as that.
well,
And,
well, I really feel bad.
I'll get in touch.
I really feel bad about that too. I'm glad I got that recorded too.
Okay.
Well, you have a super day.
Thank you, Terry. Bye now.
Yeah, bye.
Is there anything you'd like to add in terms of supplementing the record concerning this issue?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Clearly, I was never going to get a fair trial when all of my evidence has not been provided to me.